Okay, welcome to another episode of Prep Radio. Tom Blackman with Paul Scarborough. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Tom.
And look,
How are you
it's a
doing?
miracle because 2 weeks, and we're
Just
actually
gonna
doing
say
a
that.
actually doing a
Yeah.
podcast within 2 weeks. Although
Yeah.
it won't last. You know, it'll be
No,
like
no,
another
no.
month.
Yeah, we're gonna put this out by the weekend, and people will be going, "No, you've already released it." I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
this is a new one.
This is last week's. You
It's not.
repeated it.
It's not the other one. It's a new one."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we had a system to stick to, and it's basically the week after we re-release an episode of Prep series, and yeah. So hopefully, long may it last. So what you been up to, Tom?
Well, normally when we have these chats, it's been like 3 months, so we've actually done a fair bit. I've actually done not a lot. I've always busy, but yeah, I've literally just been some stuff with the gym. So because obviously people like cost of living crisis and everything else, a lot of gyms are talking about putting their membership up. I've no plans to do that currently, but I've been looking at things like electricity bills and water bills and all these boring things that gym owners look at to try and get their efficiency down. And we're not at the stage yet where we need to think about raising prices, but I know a lot of gyms are, and a lot of the things like the electricity costs are going up. So if you're at a gym and they're talking about putting prices up, do them a favor and don't piss and moan, because the gyms are normally, independent gyms are normally running on a tight budget. They don't have the massive millions that big groups like Pure Gym and stuff do.
Yeah,
so
but
they've sometimes got to do that.
Yeah, but if you own a gym, then you're really rich, isn't?
Yeah. Actually, when you do open a gym, what happens is you get millions of pounds deposited into your account, and yeah, it's a really good life.
And you can let people train for free, and they can have protein
all your
shakes
mates can come and train for free.
Come on, Tom. It's only one session.
And also they don't have to pay for 3 months. They can tell me when they're going to pay. I'll pay next week after I've bought my shopping and my gear and everything else. I'll pay next week to come and use your gym. Yeah. So if you're a new gym owner, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I think the only person that does that and takes a piss is me. So that's whenever I'm there.
Yeah. Thankfully, your visits are less frequent than they used to be. So it's actually perfect. So yeah, that's it. What about you? You've been dying again, haven't you?
Not well. Yes, it's been a while since we've actually had that subject of me not dying. I finally
anniversary.
Yeah, I finally got COVID, which is I'm shocked that I haven't had it before. Because haven't you had it twice? You've had it twice.
Yeah, I was an early adopter, so I had it early, and then I've had both. What was the tough one? The Delta. I had that one, and then I had COVID light, which was Omicron.
Right. So
and that was less bad.
And for listeners that obviously don't know me, or a history, or new listeners or whatever, obviously I've no immune system, or I've got a heavily suppressed immune system because I've got a kidney transplant. So I fully expected to catch it, and I haven't been blasé through the thing. I've just been using common sense. I don't go near people in crowd. I'm not a people person as it is. So I've been maintaining my distance. I can't wear a mask. I'm exempt from wearing a mask. So, and I have never got it, and I'm like, winner. And then probably about 9-10 days ago, we think one of my boys got it, my middle son Joe, and then he passed that on to my youngest son Sam and me. And it was what's today, Thursday. So we actually tested. I felt really rough a week Sunday ago, and obviously I've got to be quite aware about that, and the Monday, Tuesday I was a bit off my food, headache, that sort of thing, but I just put it down to normal male stuff. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Male stuff, time of the month.
Yeah, and then tested positive on the Wednesday, and literally it went downhill from there. I spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday in bed. Really hit me hard, breathing, dizziness, oh, the fatigue. I know you said it was bad, but I was like, wow, I literally couldn't get up at times. It was ridiculous. And then it's eased over the last couple of days. I tested negative today, this morning, and I am much better today than I have been. Although you will hear I will cough and I'll seem to be out of breath and stuff, and that's still there. And I think that will still be there in a couple of weeks' time. From what I've heard from other people who have got a good immune system, you'll still feel it maybe a week or so after. So I'm fully expecting with my crap immune system to be, for that to drag on a bit. So I haven't been training for a couple of weeks. As you can probably see, when they're watching this, they can look at your shoulders and see how wide you still are, and then me, how very narrow my shoulders are to my ears now. So I haven't trained for a couple of weeks, and I'm looking to go back next week just for a small taster, and then build it up. Obviously, I'll then get on a cycle and then do a show.
Get back on the trend ASAP.
I've lost a bit of weight, so a bit of vitamin-C, and I'll be doing the PCA Southwest. So
if you just take Anavar, you can do the natural shows.
Well, yeah, that's true. Anavar and peptides.
Yeah, and growth. So that's it. You've been dying all week.
So I've been dying all week, and some of our listeners might notice a slight change, as in the fact that me and Tom had a competition about who could grow a beard. Tom couldn't. He hasn't shaved for 4 weeks, and I can. I actually shaved yesterday, and this was overnight. So
was that the bet? Was it?
I've decided to don a beard, and I quite like it. So that's my new look. I thought the
bet was who could look most like a tramp.
Yeah, I don't now.
Despite my best efforts, you surpassed me and completely won everything.
Show us your trainers, Tom.
I don't have any trainers. I got shoes. I got
show us the trainers that you wear for the gym.
I wear Otomix because I'm a hardcore bodybuilder.
You wear things on your feet that make you look like a hobbit. So when it comes to fashion, don't speak.
I have actually bought new trainers since the last time you saw them.
All right, okay. So that's been me and stuff. But apart from that, apart from nearly dying, things have been good. So
okay.
Now I can So what are we going to discuss today?
Right, so we were having a chat, and also some social media stuff has been grabbing our attention. And so what we're going to talk about is sort of fad diets, fad training things, weird things that bodybuilders, fit pros and stuff do, or have done in the past, which are no longer around. And just to discuss some of the sort of the fads, and is it actually something you need to do? Because we do get asked a lot about things like waist trainers and stuff like that. I've had clients asking about waist trainers, and oh, God's sake. So I'm gonna kick off with something interesting. So I did a post the other day, and it was this is so stupid. There was a question, because I'm a bit of a geek, so I go on geek boards every now and again and look at science geek stuff. And there was a question on one of these geek things which said, can you cook a chicken by slapping it? So there was this physics professor guy on there who worked out that if you're an average human with average strength and size and everything else, and an average velocity of hand slap, if you slapped a chicken enough times, the transfer of kinetic heat, because it's physics, from the slapping of the hand into the chicken would cook it if you slapped it 27,000 times.
Fucking hell.
Or if you were Superman, or like Edmund Honda, if you from Street Fighter, if you did a super slap at 3,700 miles an hour or something, one slap, the energy from the transfer from the slap into the chicken would cook it. Can you imagine that? Like just really fast slap, like, oh look, the chicken's cooked. Oh, you're Jesus, well done. Miracle.
Yeah, because Jesus was well renowned for
Slapping chicken, yeah.
being the original KFC.
That's like the 11th miracle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was, I did a thing on this, is that it wasn't so much that, because obviously no one's ever going to slap a chicken to cook it, but there are stupid things that people do, you know, such as cutting out all their carbs in order to lose weight, which people do a lot of. And this stuff is rooted into science, in inverted commas. So, and that's the chicken slap thing, is that although it's possible by science and calculations and maths and everything else to cook a chicken by slapping it, why would you do that?
Yeah,
because you could go grill it or fry it or what, you know, poach it, boil it, whatever. All these other things exist, but you can guarantee that if there was some money to be made out of it, there'd be some fit pro popping up with some really good copy going, hey, do you want to save money on your energy bills? Hey, energy bills are high at the moment, and you know, you're spending money on gas, electric. Don't just slap your chicken, man, and slap it and cook it. And I'll show you how. Just download my 97-pound ebook, and I'll show you how to slap a chicken and cook it. It's good for the environment, mate, because you're going to save on carbon. And you know, you could really do a job on it, couldn't you? About all this, you know, stuff that's going on at the moment.
And obviously, the ultra sad thing about that, he would sell some bucks.
Yeah,
you know,
someone would buy it
because
can't wait to slap my chicken.
Yeah, and they would justify that by going, well, it's possible.
Yeah,
but you probably wear down your hand to a stub.
Yeah. But it's cardio as well. It's HIIT cardio, literally.
HIIT, yeah. But there are lots of examples of that, and it is a case of, and I believe in science circles they call it pseudoscience.
Science as well,
yeah, because yes, it's possible, but you would just never do that. You know, it's possible, but you would never do it. It is if you eliminated all carbohydrates from your diet, yeah, you would lose weight. So yes, it works. So the statement of, why have you removed all your carbohydrates from your diet? Because when I do that, I lose weight. That statement is true. It's not incorrect on any level. That's not incorrect. Yeah. However, by removing all the protein from your diet, you will also lose weight. By removing all the fat from your diet, you will also lose weight. You know, by removing all the calories from your diet, you will die. But
yeah,
my point being is, everybody's like, yeah, carbs, evil. Remove them, lose weight. Therefore, if I eat carbs, I gain weight. If I don't eat carbs, I lose weight. There you go. There you go. 1 + 3 is 2. You know,
so go on. You finish.
No. So it's sort of, well, yeah, but that's the hardest thing. I don't know how you find, but as a nutrition guy, and this goes over to training. I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. But as a nutrition guy, that's the hardest thing to get through to people, because they're not wrong. It's not as if they're going, yeah, if I eat a load of fat, I can build muscle. No, you can't. That fat doesn't build muscle in any sort of, you know, solar system. It doesn't happen. But if they go, I want to lose weight, and I know that if I lower the carbs or drop them totally out, I'll lose weight. Factually, that's correct, and you will do that. But how long will you last doing that? And are you prepared to do that for the rest of your life? And that's where,
the thing, isn't it? Is this something that you want to do for the rest of your life? And when people do these like keto, so the worst question, I hate people come and say, hey Tom, you know, what do you think about keto? I'm like, wow, you've got an hour, you know, yeah, but I could lose all this weight. Yeah, okay. Are you going to do that for the rest of your life? Do you not like carbs? Do you want to not eat carbs for the rest of your life? No, I'm just going to do it for 6 weeks to lose weight. Okay, what are you going to do then? I'll go back to what I was eating before. And then what's going to happen? And they're like, you can just see the sort of the cogs ticking. It's like, oh yeah.
But it's an instant result, you know. So a lot of people fall for it. a good friend of mine, I know you know him as well, Jason Corrick, put on Facebook the other day about the amount of like transformation experts that were out there. And I was like, yeah, they're all over the place. And I don't like using the word expert because I truly honestly,
because I am an expert.
I truly honestly believe there's no such thing, because there's always something for that person to learn. There's always something that they don't know, because you can't know everything about every subject that is covered under the word transformation, you know? And so therefore you're not an expert. You're very good at it, you know, and you are highly knowledgeable, but you're not an expert. Especially if you're an expert, you're not going to be going off to your 1,000 followers on Instagram, you know? So, but my problem with transformations and thing is the context, you know, because like we've just said, you could get Joe Blogs comes to you and says, I want to lose 2 stone by the time my wedding is in 2 months' time. Can that be done? Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes. And at the end, you'll have a before and an after and a weight difference and everything like that. And he stood there with a paper and a smile and, you know, great, this guy's great and stuff. But there is no
and a smile.
Yeah, you know, to prove the dates and as they
Oh,
do.
right, okay, yeah.
This is today's date. This, and but there's no context there. And people are like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, from that advert, from that display, you could go, oh, Bobby Big Coach is really good. Look what he's done to Joe Blogs there. Wow, that's amazing. I need some of that. Right, okay, what is it? £8,000? Yeah, no problem. There you go.
£8,000.
Yeah,
great.
whatever.
A bargain.
There you go. Right, brilliant. Right, do that. I need that. Right, eat this. And they look at the diet and they go, what? Eat this? There's only 3 meals there. It's only 1,000 calories. No, that's what Thingy did. Oh, and
no wonder they were shredded.
and you have to do your 4 hours of cardio a day. What? And your 2 training sessions, and these drugs, and it's a silly.
Try not to murder your family.
Yeah,
at the same time.
it's a silly example, but it's true. You know, not with all, because a lot of people you put context to it. I know quite a few others that do as well, but a lot don't, and it's the context that I believe would screw them up. You know, because it's not about getting from A to B, as in A, there, B, there you go, it's done. It's about the in between and what you've had to do to get to there, because you're selling it on a promise that I can get you from here to there, and you're sort of agreeing that you don't care what it takes. No matter what it takes, I'll do it.
Yeah, there's
I just think that's wrong.
Yeah, we've talked about this before with systems versus goals approach, whereby it's nice to have a goal to aim for, as in I want to get in shape for my wedding. But when that becomes the only thing you focus on, and then you sort of like blinkers running blindly towards this target. And I like to analogize it to like across a tightrope over like a pit filled with alligators. And you're okay going on that tightrope as long as everything's balanced, but things aren't balanced, you know. And then you've got your internal, external factors, which are like winds blowing you off course. And you might be eating less than you expend or whatever, you know, or eating less than you expend, calories in, calories out. You might be doing that, but then you've got, you know, your kids' party you got to go to, or you've got a work function, which is like all you can eat, or you've got, I don't know, chocolate at home, which, you know, is just everywhere because you've got kids and kids like chocolate. You know, all these things, these are detractors that push you away. And yeah, you know, you can have the best diet in the world. As long as you're in a prison, forced to do it and forced to do the exercise, you'll succeed. But we're not in prison. We're not in a closed environment. And that's the issue, is that, yeah, do this to lose this weight. But what about all these things? Oh, don't worry about those. You just make sure you want it enough and then you'll get there.
Yeah, and I think that's the obviously what you've described there is a prep diet. You know, for a standard bodybuilder,
For a lot of people now, though, not just prep, isn't it?
No. But what I'm saying is, for a standard bodybuilder, you know, you can basically go, right, I need you to do this for this length of time, and I'll get you on stage looking like this. Right. That's goal oriented because they want to look good. But it is the mindset of bodybuilders, fitness, bikini girls, even whatever. Yeah. It's their mindset to do whatever it takes to get on that stage. Yeah. That's why people get bikini girls to take drugs, because it is a whatever it takes to get on stage. But when you actually start working with Joe Average, yeah, who can't blink or everything, you know, like you said, they've got to go to the kids' party. They are entertaining that weekend. The you know, their wife and partner or whatever wants to go out and wants to do this and stuff like that. Then it's more than just a starting picture and a end picture. It's the education. I just worked with a single mum who's a school teacher. She's in her early 50s, so you know, she's pretty set in her ways. You know, she's trained before, so you know, my job with her wasn't really setting the nutrition plan or the training, was to change her mindset that she didn't have to eat fairy dust really to get the changes. Yeah. You know, so
no fairies were harmed in the making of the
no
dust.
fairies were harmed in any of my protocols, apart from the really extreme ones. You know, so but yeah, and you can say the same with training as well. You know,
there's and coming back to systems, because I do discuss this a lot of times with I think actually 3 times this week I've discussed this concept with clients already, and it's only what, Thursday. So there's a concept called the Lipostat, which is in Stefan Guinet's book, The Hungry Brain. Unfortunately, it's not on Audible, but if you haven't read that book and you're interested in learning about nutrition and stuff like that, and habits and why you think people do certain things, go and read that book. It's really good. It's called The Hungry Brain. Anyway, in that book, he talks about the phenomenon known as the lipostat. And in a nutshell, it's this: if you're in a room and I came in and turned it up 10 degrees, like instantly, within 10 minutes, you would feel that. And you'd be like, oh, this is a bit hot, isn't it? You know, taking off clothes or whatever, cold drink to try and cool down. And then the same would be cold. If I turned it cold 10 degrees, you'd be like, oh, it's a bit cold, just put heating on, whatever. So you would notice it immediately. Whereas if I came in every hour and turned it 1 degree, within 10 hours, yeah, we got to the same temperature, but you'd have acclimatized and accustomed to that. And so that's the thermostat. And he postulates that there's, and this has been sort of shown in anecdotal evidence, that there's a what's called a lipostat in the body. And this ties into the whoosh effect, which you might have heard of with Lyle McDonald. And the lipostat, what it does is you have a very gradual weight loss. So we're talking about systems approach to develop this thing to gradually weight loss over time. And you lose weight on a very slower pace. But what happens is, as you're losing weight, the body becomes accustomed to this new low level of body fat you've got. So we go to 100 kilos, 98 kilos, 96 kilos, and you might be at that weight on average, because we measure averages, for, let's say, a couple of weeks. Yeah? You might be up and down on 97 kilos or whatever for 3 or 4 weeks. And all of a sudden, you'll just drop to 95. And this is the body becoming acclimatized to this new level of body fat and then allowing a drop. And the drop is potentially tied into the whoosh effect, which Lyle McDonald talks about. As you're dropping weight, body fat, the body holds on to more water to retain that level of weight, because it thinks the weight's going to come back, the fat's going to come back, because it's a short-term thing, fat loss. When it's happened for a long period of time, the body's like, oh, okay, this is long-term. I don't need that water to retain that, because now we're at a lower level for lever, and it drops off. So that's why you lose the 2 kilos overnight for no reason. So that's the whoosh effect. And these two things tie in. Now, the key thing here is that doesn't happen on crash dieting, because what happens in crash dieting, it's the rapid thermostat thing. You drop calories really fast, you drop weight really fast, so you notice it really fast, and the body notices it, and it gives you cues to say, oh, you've dropped a load of weight and you're exercising loads. Let's make you really tired and lethargic and not wanting to go to the gym. And at the same time, let's give you loads of cues to eat more, because we want to get you back up to what we perceive as being our normal level. So that's why you get crash dieting. Yeah, it works, but you've got to fight against willpower for so long. And the problem there is you're never going to fight your willpower for that long because you're fighting yourself. So you're always going to lose eventually.
Well, yeah, and this lady that I'm coaching is a prime example of that. You know, she's tried and literally she told me, you know, she laid it out. She tried everything. And that's a common thing. I'm sure you hear that all the time. Tried everything, nothing works, blah, blah, blah. But by her own mission, nothing's worked because she hasn't been able to stick to it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We went down the old portions route, you know, and after about 2 or 3 weeks, she was like, I'm struggling
about a portion.
I'm struggling with that. I can't do it. So, you know, I went down sort of a macro calorie sort of way with some slight additions. And I kept on reinforcing that yeah, all right, you had that, you ate that, fine, don't worry about it, because the other 6 days you were within check, you know, you were doing really well and whatever. Don't let one thing or even 2 things really steer you off course. Just look at the bigger picture and just keep going. And that reinforcement has now, my last check-in from her, she says that she rested on her laurels because she's never been down to 70 kilos, you know, since she was like 30, and she's dropped her dress size and now she's a size 12. And she was like between 14 and 16. So they're huge goals for her. And she said, you know, I've still got work to do, but you've changed my mindset and my approach to food. So she knows now she doesn't have to restrict, because like, you know, Tom, people will restrict and at some point they will then bring all that restriction back. She was doing it because she's a teacher as well. So basically she was really busy in the day. She wouldn't eat, you know, maybe snack. And then at night when she's doing a marking at home, you know, she'd be hands in like bags and bags of nuts and crisps and stuff like that. And it was just a continuous, you know, thing. But it is the process, you know, the understanding that you're not, everything you do is not incorrect. You don't have to eat broccoli with everything. You don't have to do everything perfect all the time. You just have to do little things better than what you were doing. And then as the weeks go by, those little things become bigger things, and the results are there, you know. So yeah, and I'll read that book actually. I've never read it. But
have you read a book ever?
I've read a book.
It's got no pictures in.
I've read this one.
For the podcast, he's holding up Target Lean. Yeah, that's got a few pictures in, so probably easy for you to understand.
I understood that. That's written quite basic, really. It's
for you to understand, for basic.
You know, it's I
wrote it with you in mind.
I contacted the people who write the dummy books, and I said someone's wrote an even dumbest book.
Yeah.
So the dummy book to Target Lean.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so yeah, no, that's cool. We were saying earlier about you know, the and people who have been, because obviously forums exist but don't really exist anymore.
No, what happens, because obviously we both met on UK Muscle, and
yeah,
well, that sounds like this is where we met. You know,
yeah,
but
all strapped up in leather and everything.
Yeah, oiled up and shaved. But yeah, but are forums actually a thing anymore? Do they actually function?
Well, there are some around. UK Muscle is still going. I've obviously you distanced yourself from it a long time ago, and I sort of was still modding to a degree, not a huge degree sort of thing, and then that sort of came to a natural end just before Christmas. So I don't go on any forums now, but to be honest, the forums I've been on, you know, the big ones in the UK, like UK Muscle and Muscle Chat, and you know, Testosterone Muscle and all the blah blah muscle and blah blah, you know, they're all died a death. There is still some you know, all bitter people on them, you know. But essentially, I think all the tractions and groups now in on Facebook, and I see them being there for quite some time, unless some two intelligent people get together and maybe bring a new old school sort of style, but with new school ideas forum out, you know.
If they've got time. A few people have gone over to a few people I know who are sort of doing the forum thing, but not forums, have gone on to Discord, which is sort of the same sort of thing. You can search, and some people use Slack groups, but I was in a like a business thing for a Slack group, but I couldn't use Slack. I found it really annoying.
I
don't use it.
I hate using Slags as well. So
not Slags, Slack.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, different conversation.
Oh right, okay. Different audience. I thought with you being in Bristol, you know, but so I've heard of Discord. I think our group had just gone over to there. To be honest, with everything that's happened lately with me, I need to just catch up on everything, you know, because you know it just everything, because I get so ill, everything goes out the window. So I just need to catch up. But I do think in general it's groups. I was telling you about this the other week. I've just joined a over 50s fitness fanatic group, and mate, I'm 52 this year. It's not a secret.
Master Moaners group.
Mate, I'd be concerned about you. You're 42, got more grey hair than me, and I've got more hair than you.
That doesn't mean anything. Do you know that bald people are more intelligent?
Yeah, said a bald person.
Jeff Bezos, he owns Amazon. He's a billionaire.
Yeah, because he's intelligent.
He's rich. That's all that matters.
Well, okay then. See, everybody clients with Tom, it's all about the money. With me, it's all about the journey and your well-being. So come over to me. The hair. Come over to me. I'm more polite and cheaper.
Yeah. We got off on a tangent again. What were we talking about? Oh, exercises, exercise weirdness. So you had something about I think you were about to get to it, weren't you?
Yeah. This ties in with the groups. So I've joined this 50s thing, and it's fine. It's an Americanized one. It's massive, you know. But it's weird because it's obviously you've got to be over 50 to get in. Yeah.
How do they check you over 50? Do you have to show your bus pass?
No, you've got to have a Facebook profile. You've got to have, you know, and so on and so forth. So I'm guessing some people could kid it, but you know, in general, you know, and it you know, there's some awesome people in there. You know, I'm 51 now, but 52 in a couple of months. But there's people in there that's 75 and look amazing, you know, and it is mostly American, you know, but it just shows that age, there is no limit in age for being a complete and utter ass, you know, because I'm like,
you too can be an ass. Don't worry if you're a nice guy. You can still develop. You can still become a wanker.
It's like if you were a wanker on forums, there's still a place for you. And it's like we both, you know, I don't hide the secret that I think the Facebook group Gym Outcast is just fucking pathetic. You know,
I've left that one. I've been on it for ages.
Yeah. I don't go on it at all. I keep on leaving and I keep on getting stuff back on it. So, but I don't. It's too clicky. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, things on there that make me sort of a little bit frustrated with it is people believe that because they have the right to an opinion, their opinion matters because they can justify it by one person. So n equals 1. Yeah. For example, and like I said, this new group is very good and hugely supportive, and the majority of it is really good. However, you still have those people on it. It's like we were talking about chest exercises, and someone said, you know, can I just use flies, so chest flies, to build the chest because that's what Arnold did. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's Arnold, because you're 50, not Ronnie. Ronnie's the over 40s group.
Well, they wouldn't even know Ronnie. It's all, you know, it is. And that's a clear message for me. If someone uses Arnold as the epitome of bodybuilding, you know, that just shows you have no understanding of what bodybuilding is. You know, he was very good for bodybuilding in a business sense, but when it comes to physiques, you know, he certainly shouldn't have won the 1980. You know,
no, that was a bit of a fix, wasn't it?
Exactly. So, you know, he was don't get me wrong, he's great physique, great upper body, great, you know, great. However, if you properly judge his physique, he's very weak in the legs. You know.
Oh, let's not get to the
no, but yeah. But anyway, my point was they used Arnold as their proof.
Yeah.
And I went on. I was like, yeah, that's not really true, because Arnold, if he just did press ups, he would still have a better chest than 90% of people, because genetics. You, for example, you have got a huge chest, genetically gifted chest. You know, you literally could do press ups or one exercise once a week, and you would still have a better chest than the majority of people on the stage with you. It's true.
I find that very insulting that I've worked so hard on my chest. Just make it look easy, that's all.
Yeah. And so I went on and I said, no, you know, you could probably get this. No, I wasn't being disrespectful or anything like that, saying, you know, this, that. Flies just do not stimulate chest, you know. And this guy came on, he went, got to disagree with you. I was like, that is your right, mate. That's fine. He's like, because I've built a chest just doing flies, flat, incline, decline, and pullovers.
Pullovers, like, classic.
Yeah.
Classic chest exercise.
And I was like, that's wrong. Straight there, that's wrong. That what you're saying is wrong, because I can guarantee you, in your early years, you bench press the shit out of it, you know, and it's just now it feels more of a pump. And he even said to me, the gym that I'm training at only goes to 75s. Yeah.
It's pounds because it's America.
It may be, but still 75 pounds. I'm sure he was talking about kilos, but 75 pounds, and I can fly them with perfect form.
That's not 75 kilos then.
No.
Yeah.
But even 75 pounds, mate, when you look at it, you know,
35 kilos, isn't it?
35 kilos. I know that's not huge when you're talking benching, but we're talking perfect form, you know, and you forgot.
I can do a 30 kilo fly, but it's tough. You know, you got to be really careful.
Yeah, and you have a lot of pluses in your, you know, genetically gifted chest. And I was like, right, okay. So I wrote this really long reply, and I was like, well, if you look at EMG stuff, anyway, I basically said, what you're talking about is shit, without saying what you're talking about is shit. And
you know what you should have said? You should have gone, mate, that's good. Imagine how big you'd be if you did train properly.
Oh man, and I did actually take that to I'm really pleased that you feel you've built your chest using flies and whatever, you know, but there's a reason why, you know, people literally don't do flies. You may think that that's built your chest, but you're mistaking getting a pump for building muscle. You know, here's the science. And I gave him some references and given some examples, and said, like we said earlier, it's clear that the pressing movements, incline, decline, and flat, are king. Secondary to that, which I found interesting, was cable crossovers. So they
activate essentially a fly movement. That's a fly movement. So that makes that's weird.
Yeah, but it's the way that they spoke about it was the fact with the cable crossovers, the form of it is perfect, sort of thing, because it's an arch and you're not pressing. and 90% of the people that start pressing heavier weights with flies will start out here, and then by the time they come up here, they've brought them in and they're pressing.
The thing there as well is that with a fly, because you're lying flat, when as you come up, as the weight passes your chest, the actual tension decreases. You might feel if you're squeezing the muscle, but the actual tension on the chest is going to be less because the tension is measured on the pullback. So with a cable, when you're in the center of the cable, you've got the maximum tension. They're actually pulling the weight the highest, whereas you don't get that with a fly.
Yeah, and it mentions, you know, it goes into detail, but what I thought funny was the worst exercise for chest is press ups. They only stimulate 20%.
Not pullovers.
Yeah. But
because that's a chest exercise, isn't it? Obviously.
Yeah, it said next to that, although press ups are the worst chest exercise, some mistakenly think that pullovers work the chest. And pullovers don't expand the rib cage like everybody 30 years ago thought. And all they train is your serratus muscle and your lats. So basically, in my reply, I not only told him he was incorrect, but also he shouldn't really be doing pullovers for chest.
I bet that went down well.
His reply wasn't nice, you know.
Did he put a picture of him in his garage mirror with like flexing?
Oh man!
And say, "Look, you're wrong because look at me."
Did I tell you about that the other week on this same group? Yeah, I don't disagree with people. I know how to debate, you know. I don't disagree with people. I'll say, all right, fine, but this, blah, blah, blah. And I disagreed with him, you know, in context, you know. Do you know what he did?
Yeah.
He put a picture up of him competing.
Did he win?
No, he wrote, oh, I've been, you know, I've been training, blah, blah, blah. This is me in 1993 or something, you know, and then just put a picture up. That was it. That was it. So I put a picture up of me in 2015 and went, this is me when I was 45. I'm 51 now. I'm not sure why you've just put a picture up as if to go, look at me, you're wrong, you know, because I look like this. So therefore my opinion counts more than yours. I was like, well, this is how I look. Does that mean I win? And what's the next stage? Are you going to slam your dick out and we're going to measure that? Mate, he got flamed. But my point being, it's the same on that sort of board with maturer people that it is like, you know,
good old forum discussions, eh? It's like,
hello, hey man, I think they're great, but they just I said this to Jason Corrick on his thing yesterday, on his post yesterday, that I said the problem is I think people have just forgotten the art of debate.
It's easy on the internet though, isn't it? You can just go look at this. Have you done your research? Or they go on Google and just go, they just type in, I want to win a conversation, so show me this biased argument, and then what pops up first thing from some biased site. Oh look, here's a link proving my thing. They haven't read it, they haven't even read the article, just like here's a link that shows that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's yeah, that link's good, but that's an article. That's an opinion. That's not a it's not a factual document. It's not a study, although studies don't prove fact. But you know what I mean? They've not read it, like you said, but it's an opinion of someone based on something.
It's a confirmation bias, isn't it? So they're trying to they believe something, and then they're gonna try and find something that proves that, and they'll dispel anything that goes against that. And I think that's the difference between, say, like me and you are evidence informed people, and you get people who are so say evidence based until the evidence doesn't agree with their bias. So obviously well, okay, let's talk about me. I hate keto diets. I'm not a fan of keto diets, and I'd never put my clients on one. No, I can't. I was going to say unless, but actually no, I'd never do that. So but if a study came out to say, or let's say a group of studies came out, a new group of studies showing that a certain keto way of dieting was best for muscle gain and best for fat loss and everything else, it won't. So I'm pretty safe saying that. I still would not do a keto diet for my clients because of the associated issues with that. But I would then say, look, if you want optimal, this has been shown on 15, 20 studies in this circumstance to be optimal. You want to go and do that? Knock yourself out. I'm not going to do that because I'm evidence informed, not evidence, follow like a whatever blind rabbit.
I do follow that, and I think Phil, our friend Phil Lerney, said this once. And if he didn't say it, he should have said it. Is that outside of medical practices, because obviously keto does help with seizures and things like that.
Epilepsy,
the only people that should be on keto or should even attempt to try keto is severely obese individuals, And
it's not even keto, it's low carb, which keto is nearly zero carb.
But then again, you ask 10 people what keto is, and half of them, if not more, will go, well, yeah, you just lower your carbs.
Yeah,
you don't actually,
low carbs,
the fact is, in keto, you have less than 30 grams of carbs. Protein is not your main macro, and fats are your main thing. So as a bodybuilder, you've got to ask yourself, why am I using a diet where protein is not the main macro, and protein builds muscle or preserves muscle? It's like this group I've been talking about. There seems to be a trend for intermittent fasting, but to a point that it's zealot like. It's like, I'm not averse to intermittent fasting. I think it can work. I used it for I've got a client now that used it and has used it for the first few weeks with me, but I've shown him he doesn't need to do intermittent fasting. He thought it was the best way to lose fat because obviously it restricts his time to eat, but then when he got really hungry, he would still eat. So it's sort of intermittent fasting when he can make it happen. But in this group, there is a huge bias trend towards intermittent fasting, as in, I've never tried anything. I've heard intermittent fasting is really good, and people are like, yeah, it's great. I can eat anything I want, and this and this. And I'm like, that I don't know about you. You probably don't get involved like me, but I have a real trouble passing something by if it's totally incorrect.
Wow.
And
I do like a good discussion. There was in my I'm a member of a couple of entrepreneur groups, and in one of these groups there's a lady who she's the one that's expert. No, I wouldn't go that far. She's just very opinionated about stuff. And there was a discussion on I can't remember what it was now, but it was related to nutrition, which is obviously my bag. And the thing I find with when I'm in these entrepreneur groups is that there's a lot of, because entrepreneurs obviously look for the newest hack, the quickest way to make money, the best way to make money. And that's what they apply then to their nutrition, is like, how can I get shredded fast? Oh, I'll do keto, I'll do intermittent fasting, I'll do this. There's always a hack that they're looking for. And a lot of these sort of high ticket guru people who are selling diet plans, they prey on that when they're talking to these entrepreneurs saying, yeah, we can get you shredded in 12 weeks, bro. Just do this, this, and this, buy these supplements. And because they've normally got the money to do that, they'll spend £1,000 on this keto salts, whatever, and just basically just line the guru con artist pockets. That's something I'm really against. Anyway, sidetrack. But so I don't normally engage in discussions, but in this entrepreneur group, this topic came up, and I can't remember what the exact topic was now, but it was something that I'm very knowledgeable in, and so I thought I'll put my oar in here. And then people were talking about, oh, this, and this. And I said, oh, right. I said, actually, what I'd like to come in and say is that all those are good. However, you don't have to do that. you know, there's this, and this. You should be thinking about this. You should be thinking about this. You don't have to do this, you know. And I put a long response and everything else. I didn't say I'm a performance nutritionist, I'm the author of Target Lean and all this other stuff, because people in the KPI group know that. If they were to say 2 seconds clicking on my profile, they'd see that. And everybody in there is generally an expert in their topic, you know. So we've got people on branding, people on trademarking, people on investing, like Jason, you know, all these sorts of people are in there. So if you want a specific specialist answer to a question, you can normally put in there and someone will have the answer. It's a really good group to be in. The only drawback is you've got to pay $8 to get in there, but, you know, and do the course. So if you want to, there's a little plug for you. But if you, but anyway, this conversation went on, and this one was like, no, it's not. It's this, this, this. I said, well, actually, that's not what the research proves or the research shows. And actually, there's research showing against what you're arguing very, very strongly. And blah, blah, it went on for a bit. And then I had people message me on it saying, oh, what's she going on about? I was like, oh, you know, don't worry about it. Anyway, she ended, her final thing was, because she ran out of things to say, was, well, none of us are qualified nutritionists, so we can't really say for good or not, can we? And I went, well, actually, I have a distinction in advanced sports and exercise nutrition. So yeah, I can actually say I am actually qualified, and I can actually say with some conviction what the answer is. It's just no more answers after that. But that one post got about 30 likes. It was so funny. But it's just that, I mean, I don't go out to have an argument. It was literally to help people in the group and to educate, because there is so many of those people preying on those sorts of people. But it's just funny how, like, and what I also get is that sometimes, even though these entrepreneurs themselves are charging like 10K for a project or 15K, this is the, you know, this big money businesses, you know, they still only expect, some of them, I would say, to pay £100 for like coaching. Like, really? You're charging your clients $2,000 an hour for your consultation services, and you're an expert, but you want to pay me 50 quid to write you a diet plan and to coach you for 2 months? Really? You know, so a lot of them don't have that appreciation of what actually an expert nutritionist is.
And to be honest, I think that, you know, you're obviously an exception to the rule on normal sort of coaching levels, because you are a fully qualified nutritionist and stuff. You see, I've got no qualifications. You know, I've just got 30 years of experience and, you know, and application, really. But it does frustrate me when people come for coaching, and they've come to you for coaching because of reviews, or because, oh, I saw the transformation in this, or I spoke to so-and-so and all this stuff. And then you go, yeah, it's 150 quid a month, or it's 200 quid a month, or it's whatever it is, you know. And they go, oh, right, right, okay. And I'm like, but how much did you think? You've just told me you've just, for the last 3 years, made no progress and invested on various, you know, £60 here, £70 there, £100 here, £100 there for diets and, you know, little snippets and stuff like that. And you're no better off. In fact, you're probably worse off. And I'm telling you, for 150, well, for whatever it is, 750 quid for 12 weeks, you know, or whatever, 500 quid, or 750 for 12 weeks. I can not only change you on the scale, which is, to be honest, irrelevant, but I can physically make you look better, but also teach you how to take that on and change your mindset towards food. So you will then go on and make better decisions and stuff. So investing in the next whatever years and whatever. And you think that that's too much money, although you've probably spent 10 times that in the last 3 years getting nowhere. And it is this thing where, oh, well, yeah, but so-and-so can do this for me, and it's $19.99. Yeah, you do that. And then in a month's time, when you've spent that money, come back to me, because you look the exact same, if not worse. You know.
Yeah, I think the thing there is that, because there's a lot of what I would say in the fitness industry, and I don't know if you follow similar sort of people to what I do, but there's a lot of fitness guru, like people telling coaches how to be coaches. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really good ones, and but there's also a lot of people who are just literally just churning out, regurgitating Americanized like methods, and you know who they are because they talk about supercharging your physique and stuff like that, or whatever, you know, that sort of stuff, you know. It's very, very sort of like boom America type, you know, conversations stuff. And I don't mean any offense to people in America, of course, but that is the big selling stuff that goes on. It's always like bigger than normal, but that doesn't really fly with the sort of the UK type language, and you'll see that happening. And there's even coaches who are they're advertising this high ticket stuff, and what they're doing is they're saying to people, come work with me and I can get you to whatever 10k a month, whatever. How they do that is they say, yes, 10k a month's easy, you just sell a 997 plan 10 times every month or similar. But the problem is, this is the goal focus rather than the systems. They're taking people on to do this, and the people who are doing this have not got the systems in place in order to, I would say, achieve and charge that money and get that result. Now, in terms of my own coaching, you know, one-to-one coaching with me is close to £2,000 for 12 weeks. I do have lower levels as well, but you know, my top one-to-one, everything done for you is nearly £2,000. Now, that is a lot of money, and I respect that, but also what I've done, my experience, my education, my writing the book, the amount of videos I put out, the amount of content I put out, all these things allow me to charge that because I am an expert in what I do. And then you see other people say charging like, you know, £1,000 a month, and basically all they do is put out like an Instagram swap video or Instagram swap tile every day or whatever. Or they're talking about calorie deficit all the time. You know, there's no substance. But then it's like, they've been trained to sales pitch people into this 997, and then the disparity there is the price compared to the service, and that's the issue I think at the moment.
Well, I think you're one of a few people that say that to me, you know, and I'm slowly coming around to the fact that, you know, the price point should be on the experience and what you offer and things like that. But it does frustrate me when I see guys charging literally $1,000 for 12 weeks or 1,500 or $2,000 or whatever it is, you know, that I'm like, wow, I've seen your results and it's not, you know, they're not good.
I think the thing there is that people talk about high ticket. Now, you might call what I charge as high ticket. I don't perceive it as high ticket, because high ticket for me, if someone is saying I'm a high ticket coach, what that means to me is that they're selling a product they don't think is worth what they're charging, because they're calling it high ticket. My coaching is just my coaching. You know, I charge 2,000 or just under £2,000, 12-week program, but what I deliver is the absolute change, the absolute results, building the foundations, building the habits for future. I don't call what I do as high ticket. It's just, that's what I charge because that's my experience level. That's what I deliver to the clients. And again, you could have all the experience in the world. You could be a professor of Shredsville, and if you are shit at coaching, it doesn't matter your experience, your knowledge or whatever, if you can't get that result for someone. And that's essentially, I think, what maybe coaches go away from. And again, it's this goal thing, is that we're looking to get someone a result, but it's not just the result for the Instagram photo, it's the result for life. And that's where I think it's a lot lost on a lot of people. It's like, yeah, I'll charge 997, 12 weeks, you get Shredsville, chicken and broccoli, whatever, restricted diet for 12 weeks. You'll get shreds. Give my photograph for Instagram so I can go and get another sucker in. Okay, what do I do after 12 weeks? Nothing, you just fuck off. Okay, what about my diet after this? Well, you can keep doing that same diet, but I don't like that diet. Yeah, but that's the diet I gave you to get you into shreds. Oh, how do I eat properly? You don't. You go back to eating properly, you get fat again, you come back to me in 6 months, we do it again. Great, boom.
Yeah, no, and I get
that's my issue with the industry at the moment.
Yeah, and mine too. You know, in a different kind of way, I'm very much, I don't like people who have the ability to spread opinions, to have an opinion and people listen to them, then give just factually wrong advice. You know, I don't mind if their opinion is slightly left or right center from mine, but if it's factually incorrect, you know, I'm like, no, hold on, no, I'm going to pull you on this. Show me where that applies. You know, show me how that applies. You know, oh yeah, but I did it with my clients, or it worked on me. Yeah, n=1 doesn't mean it applies. You know, I never squatted when I competed. I just did leg press, and yet my legs were, you know, probably the best on stage in a lot of the shows I did. But I didn't do squats, which is the leg exercise of kings. Does that mean does that mean squats are shit? No, it just means that I took a different approach. But, you know, factually, it would be wrong for me to say that squats are shit because my legs, I didn't do squats and I had good legs. Do you see what I mean?
And that's the thing about a good coach. A good coach will know what. And I spoke to Lindsay Bruce the other day, who's another excellent coach, not as good as me, but, you know, very good, very, very good. And that's jokes. Lindsay's great. But we were talking about this, and he would say he has a really good phrase, and he would say he'll give you the minimum you need to get the maximum results. So you're not overloading people with, like, because there's another thing, coaches like, oh, so you get this and you get your app and you get this and this and this and blah, 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 blah. And so the client's like, well, fuck, I just want to know what to train and what to eat. Yeah, but you need to do this and this and this and this. Oh, God. And it feels like work. You know, it's like, I don't want to be in work when I'm trying to transform my body. I just want the simplest solution. And that was very a nice thing what Lindsay was saying about. It's like, I'll give them the minimum. Do they need a diet plan? Do they need macros? Do they need this? I'll know what they need, give them that so they progress as fast as possible. And that's a good thing about a coach. But what you find is all these cookie cutter American things coaches, they'll say, no, you need, every client needs to have all this. And then, but all clients aren't suited to that. And I think that there's a difference, is that a really good coach will talk to a client and go, right, you need this. So some of my clients have the smart eating plan. Some have macros, some have a templated diet plan, but they'll all have what they need. And I think that's maybe what's lost.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with that. When people say, how do you do the nutrition? You know, I've done macros before and it hasn't really worked, or I've done set out example plans and that's not really worked. And I've got about 4 or 5 different ways to do the nutrition, you know, and I'll choose the best one for that client, like I do for training, suited on what the discussion, the call that we have with them dictates. And I think that's key. I think to work with someone where you do your Q&A, you do your phone call, and then they go, right, okay, brilliant. You can't do squats, right? Okay, you don't like avocado, brilliant. You can't eat fish, right? Okay, great, no problem. And then they send them a plan with squats every other day, and avocado and fish
and orange roughy.
Yeah,
3 cups, 3 cups of orange roughy.
Yeah, and all that, and they're like, yeah, but I told you I didn't. Oh crap! I must have sent the cut and paste one. I'll have to. Sorry,
change the name at the top quickly.
That was someone else. Yeah. So, but listen, we have to wrap up. So essentially, that's it, really.
Wow, what a finish!
I was going to say something
what absolute
really
blended transition.
I was going to say something really insightful, but I thought it might go over your head. So
most things go over my head, I am sure.
Yeah, than me, yes. So that's it for another 2 weeks, weirdly enough. Have you got anything to finish on, Tom?
No, I think we're okay. Just on what we were talking about, I do have a test on my site. It's called the Diet Ecosystem Test. If you are not sure where you're going wrong with your diet or nutrition and the things are pulling you either side, it's free. Just go to BK Nutrition /diet-test. take the test, takes 5 minutes, give you a report, everything else, and we'll help you with that. Have we got time for sponsors?
Always got time for sponsors.
Okay, just a word from our sponsors. Okay, thanks for that.
Yep.
And
Excellent.
Paul, Instagram handle?
Team P-Scarb, and not P-Scarb, all right? That's my private Instagram. Don't go on there and try to follow me if you want nutrition training, or if you actually want to be able to follow me, because I don't let anybody in. So Team P-Scarb on Instagram, Team P-Scarb on Facebook, and P-Scarb 101 on Twitter, although I don't really use Twitter. Surprisingly enough, my website is teampscarb.co.uk.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Really thought about that.
Mine's Tom Blackman _nutrition on Instagram, Tom Blackman on YouTube. So catch me on those two things. Website, Beacon Nutrition, loads of free stuff on there. If you want calorie calculators, macro calculators, free workouts, more ramblings. You can even get this podcast here. Or you can get my better podcast with me and not Paul. That's on there as well. Much better quality.
I will say, I have started my YouTube channel again. We are re-releasing Prep the Series. Tom has it on his YouTube channel. I've now put it on mine. So mine is just Paul Scarborough. So yeah, pop over, have a look. I'm gonna start putting out some training videos of before, not now. Obviously, it'd be stupid doing it now. I'm going to, much to Tom's delight, start doing some video stuff for YouTube, which I don't really do. Cool. So that's enough from us. We'll be back in a
quickly. A few people who've gone on to onto my YouTube and have left comments on the thing. I am getting around to commenting on all of those. So thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the comments. I do those once a week normally. So thanks everybody who's commented. I'm not ignoring you. I will be responding. Thank you very much.
He is. Yeah, we'll speak. Well, what we'll do, we'll take questions and stuff like that over the next couple of weeks for our next podcast. But don't forget, we are both releasing episode 3 on Monday. So look out for that. And as always, give us your thoughts, things like that, and we can discuss it in the next podcast.
All right. Thanks very much. Thank you, Paul. Thanks to everyone for listening.
Thank you, Tom.
See you next time.
Bye now.